Welcome back, everyone, to the No Love TV show, now live on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. It's great to be back in the studio, Garret. I had a great weekend. Traveled with my son and my 7-month-old dog, Legion, to Ohio. Went and saw the family, went and saw the business, No Love Bullies. We just dropped another litter of phenomenal puppies out there. My family, mother, sister, brother are all doing an amazing job out there. The pups are healthy. Went and saw them. Beautiful puppies. So excited to see that. Got to go out there and train with my uncle, Stingray. So that was good. Getting some good work with him, and getting to see the family. You know, it's about to be fight camp. You know, end of the month. I go to Jersey the 26th to the 9th for my first 2 weeks of training camp. So I started out in Jersey with Coach Henry, Frankie Edgar, Carter Almeida, and the guys out there. So it's good to go and be able to, you know, do business, travel, see family, and training. You know, it's a consistency. Diet's going great. Weight's feeling good. I'm waking up at 45, so I'm getting down, you know, about 42 to 43 throughout my day with training. Working with Dr. Mateo has been great. Training has been awesome out here. The room's on fire. If you see the board out front, you know, in the Ultimate Fitness area, we have a jam-packed schedule of fights coming up with a lot of fighters fighting in the next, you know, 2 to 3 months. Excuse me. I'll throat tickle.
Yeah, I see Chad's on there. Chad's gonna be a good one. We got to get him on the pod here pretty soon. He might be the first one up.
He'll be the first one up. We'll reach out to him. We'll have my people reach out to his people. Bare knuckle. That's awesome. I'm excited to see him in there. I know he's been itching to fight for quite some time, and I think that stylistically, his style blends so well with bare knuckle. You know, grab the back of the head. He's a huge, you know, high-level collegiate athlete, and just, you know, a backstory on him with his wrestling ability. Like, his snap downs are some of the most powerful snap downs that I've wrestled with or been in control. Because he's so explosive, but he snaps on your head. You know, I seen him, you know, snap a couple people's heads off the mat just by snapping them down just for takedowns. So I think that he's going to, you know, transition really well into the bare knuckle. So excited for that. My plans this week is just, you know, up the workload, get the body, you know, high stress, getting ready for camp, you know, so make sure we're doing everything we need to do, filling all the voids, working on things. I've been working a lot with Chris. You know, we have a lot of pro practices here that we're getting into, and different situation where we're doing, you know, sparring, you know, live grappling rounds, situational grappling rounds, you know. So it's great. Training's going great. I'm very excited to be this well in shape. Weight, diet, everything is just kind of falling into place. Excited to go out there and get the game plan. Start watching fight films of Stephen Cara France and just game plan on what we're going to do on December 11th. So everything is falling into place. Next topic is the Browns. Man, they lost a heartbreaking close football game this Sunday. I was actually flying home in between, you know, we had connecting flights, and I was trying to find the pet relief for Legion. You know, I got Kai potty trained, trying to find the family bathrooms for him. So I'm running all up and down. I think I was in St. Louis was our layover this time, and finally found the pet relief. Legion went. Kai had to go. We were getting ready to board. I had to check the stroller, you know, all this stuff. So I get in there. I finally find the family boarding or the family, you know, restrooms.
Yep.
Kai doesn't have to go. He's like, I have to go. I'm like, oh. So, all right, we get there. I'm like, all right, we'll go. You know, we're A group, so get in, get down to the runway, take the stroller, set it down, get Legion in his seat, Kai in his seat. We're all good. I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I was like, oh, shoot. I said to talk to the stewardess, like, I forgot my bag on the runway. And people are boarding in. We were, you know, so we were, she's like, wait, we'll go and check it out. We'll grab it. I'm like, I have my wallet, my passport, other stuff, you know, money in there, Kai snacks. So I'm like, oh, we have a 4-hour flight, you know, a little over a 4-hour flight back to Sacramento. So I'm like, oh, this is not good. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to get Kai, take Legion. She's like, oh, you can't get off the plane. I'm like, listen, lady, like, if it's not there, then I left it somewhere, and I'm trying to rethink where I left it at. She's like, we'll have someone go get it. I'm like, I think I left it in the family bathroom. She's like, oh. And some lady came on and said that there was an announcement over TSA that there was a bag that was, you know, left there. I'm like, okay, hopefully. So I'm sitting there. It's like, and I'm just sitting there scrolling on Instagram, and a lady found it, messaged me on Instagram that she found it, turned in TSA. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was great. So I was like, man, what a great trip, how to be ruined just by losing the bag. Like, I just was like, I was going to get my dog, get Kai, jump off the plane, buy another flight, because I was like, I don't want to go through the headache of losing the passport, losing the ID, doing all the credit card bullshit, like, and just having to get on that back. I was like, look, listen, lady, I will get another flight. I am not losing my, I'd rather take a chance of getting it and just buying a new flight. It all worked out.
Yeah, got the bag.
It was great travel, great trip. Very thankful to go see the family right before, fight camp, see the business, be able to train with my uncle. And I was running through the airport, like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to find different, relief areas for the dog and Kai. Try to watch the Browns game, keeping up with that. So what a entertaining 72 hours it was. But, came right back to work and right back to the program. Here we are in studio for the No Love TV episode 4. So it's been a great week so far. Hump day, middle of the week. I got my best friend AJ Materna coming in tomorrow. We've been best friends, I say, since the first grade. He grew up, football, wrestling, boxed with me, did some MMA fights as well. So he works in a union. Took 6 weeks off. Been training, through his work. He's gonna do some pro boxing matches coming up. So he's coming out for a few days to train. I'm excited to show him Sacramento. Been out for 8 years now. This is his first trip out. So excited to see him and get some training in with him. Like I said, we go way back. So I pick him up tomorrow. That's kind of like my week's looking like.
That's pretty cool. So you get to jump him into a pro MMA gym. He gets to walk around and see these guys. Is he a fan of the sport? Does that get him fired up?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've all been, I would say, since the beginning, him and my uncle and myself and him, he used to spar. So he's always fought like heavyweight, like light heavyweight, heavyweight. So
he's a big guy.
Yeah, we were always sparring each other. There's like some content on YouTube when I was like, I think we were teenagers sparring each other, So he always fought, but he always fought up, because he just didn't, he would fight whenever, my uncle got him a fight or whatever weight it was. He's one of those guys like, oh, I'm fighting next weekend, okay, cool, like. Do a couple bag work, sparring work the week to go fight. Yeah, he just was one of those guys that always is, I'll go down and fight. So just a tough dude. He was a quarterback for us in high school, a wrestling team. It's a good dude. So I'm excited for him to come out and see what a world-class gym is like, and to see how just a lifestyle of being around so many professional athletes that, hone their skills daily. And just what they, the consistency that have of fighting in here. And that's what I fell in love with when I first came out here, was just seeing that, how the team meshed, how the practices were ran, how they flew together. How they flowed together on, punches, the takedowns, working on yourself back up. Like, just a high-level room in here and just the structure. So I'm excited for him to see that.
Nice. What about Uncle Stingray? I saw him on your social story. And then Uriah reposted it. Chris was talking about it. He said, Uriah, I want some more Team Alpha Male Alpha Male shirts.
Yeah, he didn't even know what he had on. He's like, I need some shirts.
Yeah. What's the joke around that, or what was that about?
Oh, Bob's always trying to get some free shit. We used to always go to the amateur boxing matches, and Bob would come with his gas receipt. I need my gas, the promoter. He's like, I need my gas money. I need my gas money. First thing he would ask, I need my gas money. We traveled all up the East Coast and the Midwest, fighting. And Bob would always come give us his gas receipts. I need my gas receipts. Hey, okay. He's a character. First thing he says, come in. Obviously I compensate him for coming and training with me and make sure that he shows up for one. And so we come in the gym and he has his other fighters that he brought in. I'm just coming to train with him, right? He's like, let's go to the Pittsburgh. I'm like, or to this other gym. It's like literally like a 6-hour round trip, almost 3 hours there. Train for an hour, to drive back 3 hours. I'm like, Bob, I'm only here for 72 hours. I'm not driving all the way there. If these guys want to come here, they come here. I came to work with you, So it's always something like that. So I just show up, worked out. It was a great workout. Me and him have just great chemistry. We can not hit pads for a year, 6 months, and we just pick up where we left off. And it's great to have him. He gets me firing on all cylinders with my hands, my feet, and my speed. There's no other trainer I feel like that can get me as snappy as my punches and speed and power, but to be so well balanced. So it's always great working with him. He'll be back in the camp, this fight camp for me, especially when I'll be in Jersey. It's a 7-hour drive, hour flight from Ohio to Jersey. So I'll be bringing him in, and I'll be going to Ohio on the weekends as well. So it was great to work with him, but it's always one of those things, man. You're gonna show up. I messaged him, and my other buddy that started training, he's a heavyweight fighter. He's like, man, I saw Bob at the, I talked to Bob last night, and so I showed up. I'm like, oh, cool, you can come in, work out. We'll do some bag work after, show you some things. A good kid named Cody getting his feet wet in the sport. Because I told Bob that I had a haircut, and I show up to the barber shop, and Bob's truck was there. And he goes, dude, I was so pissed. He took my haircut position. He goes, I have my buddy's wedding tomorrow. I'm the best man in the wedding. So Bob took his appointment. And then he's like, I was like, dude, that's the shit that Bob does. But, getting his haircut, coming there, getting great training in. It was a great weekend. Picked it up where I left off. And now we're back here in the middle of the week and just grinding, man, staying ready, staying healthy, and just getting ready to, basically just counting the weeks down until I'm in camp.
Right. Last thing on Bob, I got to bring up because I was curious. I was talking to Chris the other day, and he said Bob and Danny Castillo, they just cannot stop. What does that mean? They can't stop their banter back and forth. And I know Chris wants to talk about it on Rolling with the Homies, so we won't go too deep. But he wants to talk about a story about Bob. But I was curious about what does he mean? Him and Danny just what? They just go at it?
It's like them two are just always fucking with each other.
Okay.
Listen, no matter what, there's either Danny's kicking Bob and then they just I don't know, they're always just at each other. I always pair them up during fight week. They have to stay with each other in the days. Like, man, I'm not staying with Bob, man. He's like walking, trying to do other things. He has some friends coming in. He's just, man. It's just fight week. I'm like, sometimes you have to, I put Danny with Bob, so Bob is on time. He's responsible. He's there because Danny's responsible. He'll be there. You know what I mean? Danny will go out and have fun and do his thing, but he'll make sure he's there, he'll definitely be there showing up. Bob, on the other hand, sometimes you don't know. One of my fights I fought Takam Mizugaki, so this was basically I win this fight, I'm fighting for the title next. Yeah. So I had a flight for Bob. He missed the flight. So I said, Bob, why don't you just stay at the airport and get the next flight out? And he's like, I got sick. What the hell you mean you got sick? So I was sick, so I drove back home. I got a flight tomorrow. I'm like, Bob, please make it there. I was like, because I have no one could go out with me that whole week.
Oh, man.
No one, so I had to end up calling Chad Mendez, getting him a flight and coming out just to train with me, but he couldn't do any of the UFC on-site stuff or workouts because he was in his suspension from USADA.
Okay.
So I was like, Bob, I need you to come out. The first day I went and trained with Giff and the Shapiro brothers, and so they came and helped me out, and then Bob was like, couldn't get a hold of him for the flight the next day. They already missed the flight, and then I didn't talk to him, so I was like, I'm not even going to waste energy on trying to call him or talk to him. A little upset with him, and the week presents. I ended up knocking Takei out in 48 seconds. It's like, dude, I'm not gonna hold a grudge. It is what it is. I would love to have Bob here. Could have been worse. We made it work out. Teammates and friends helped out the week. So I was like, give him a call after fight or text him. And then he called me, and I said, man, the first thing he said, I said, man, why did you not make that flight? Why didn't it come? He's like, I got sick and all this. He's like, it doesn't matter. He goes, well, Cody, he goes, I knew you were going to do that. I said, I knew you were going to knock him out. That was the thing. He's like, why didn't I have to go? I knew you were going to knock him out. I'm like, bro, I needed you in my corner just for the week. Yeah. So that's the shit that, So now we make sure my mom always, calls hey, if you're bringing Bob out or fly him out for camps or, needing there. So mom's like, I'll pick him up, take him to the airport to make sure they got there. So it's just classic Bob shit.
Classic
Love
Bob.
Him to death though.
I like that. Mom coming in clutch. Don't worry, I got you.
Always.
All right, let's move on, Cody. Next topic I want to bring up. This showed up in some MMA media lately. Dr. Mateo, who you're working with, had some interviews with MMAfighting.com, and he's talking about how he has you on a great regimen. You're watching your food every week, your carbohydrates, and he thinks he's going to have you fully rehydrated within 30 hours at that, which is crucial for that 125-pound flyweight, right? So talk a little bit about what it's like working with him. You talk to him every week, every day, the food. What's it been like?
I feel like Dr. Mateo and I, we speak pretty often during the week, probably, every day or every couple of days. you know, he's working together on a collaboration with Brian and Shana. They're cooking my meals, so he's doing, you know, giving them meals, measurements, protein, you know, fats, carbohydrates, to put into my meals. And it's been going great so far. I think I'm on it for a little over 3 weeks now, almost, you know, over 3 weeks. I'm waking up at 145, feeling great. Like I said, I'm getting down to like 143, 142 during the day of trainings when I have 2 or 3, you know, trainings. I feel great. Energy feels good. I would see the biggest, you know, effect or result would be my sleep. I feel better, you know, and my mental clarity. I feel like the foods that I'm putting in my body's adapting really well to them, and use them as, you know, energy expenditure. But just all in all, like I've always ate clean, you know, for a fight or in camp. Like I've always, you know, wanted to do that. I'm not out and eating, you know, fatty crap stuff or a lot of sugar. I'm just not what fuels my body. You know, don't get me wrong. I like a Twix here and there, or Pop-Tart. You know, a little strawberry Pop-Tart put in a toaster.
Is there anything they give you to eat, and you're like, God, this tastes like shit?
So I mean, a lot of this stuff. I mean, I'm eating like 2 or 3 salads a day. So it's like, man, after a while, you're just like fucking munching on salads. I honestly, the first time that I tried this beet gazpacho.
I hate beets.
Gazpacho. It's like a soup, like a beet soup, and it's like chunky, and it has like, I forget what's all in it, but at first it was like I was eating it with a spoon, like just bite after bite, and it was a nice, you know, quantity of soup.
Yeah.
After the second one, I was like, freak this, and just started gulping it. Like, so I'm doing a lot of beets. Like each day is a different food, but it's the same throughout. You know, like today is like, you know, depends on. I tell my training schedule, here's how I'm training, and this is kind of how the food works. So yeah, it's going great. You know, I've never really done this, you know, this kind of style of, you know, refueling, eating. And I feel great. I think a lot of the methods that Dr. Mateo has and we speak on is only going to help my performance, you know, inside the octagon. And that's when it counts. So excited to see my body perform at 125 pounds.
That's awesome. Love it. All right, let's move on from your diet, Mateo. Let's talk about your predictions, which are, since we shoot these podcasts a week ahead, you gave your predictions last week, and you actually called Vitor Belfort and Evander Holyfield getting the KO win. So you were actually correct on both fights. But even though you're correct, it was very sad to see to me. I know a lot of fans kind of felt that same way. Not so much on Tito, but to see sorry Tito, I mean, like you too, but to see Evander go like that. So the fights happen, a lot of drama. So your audience, your fans will see your breakdown of that fight actually Friday at our podcast release. This one will come out the following week and see your reaction. So talk a little bit first. Let's talk about that co-main, Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz.
Like I said, Anderson Silva is, you know, a dynamic striker, and he's known for his striking abilities inside the, you know, octagon. He just fought, you know, Chavez Jr., beat him, looked great in boxing. He also made Tito cut to 200 pounds, you know, so Tito's never, you know, he's fought at 205, light heavyweight. So those extra weights, Tito's never been in a boxing match before, never boxed before. It's different. Range, timing, the gloves, everything. Yeah, I just was, you know, caught him with that duck right. I mean, the way that Tito was, you know, throwing those hooks, he kept raising up, you know, and you got bigger gloves, you kind of shell up a little bit and take some, and that's what he did. He just countered right over that left hook, you know, had him in the corner, and, you know, Tito was just kind of throwing those left hooks with nothing really on him, no speed, no power, no pop, and was raising up each time. You know, if you look at his boom, boom, and his chin was coming up, and, you know, Anderson just ducked and kind of threw the right. Didn't even hit him with the knuckles, hit him kind of with his palm, but enough to stun him, you know, it definitely knocked his equilibrium out, and then the follow-up left hooks after were just brutal, and, you know, to see him get KO'd like that, man, it just, I thought that it would be a little bit longer of a fight, he'd outbox him, but like I said, Tito's no punk. Like, Tito's comes to fight, you know what I mean? He was right up in the face. I know it was a, you know, first round, you know, KO, but Tito was coming. He was going to come to fight and do his best. And I saw a little interview with Tito after. I think he was in like an elevator after the fight or wherever it was, and just, you know, talking about, it happens. His first boxing match, cutting the weight, short amount of time, to train for a boxing match. Like, I just didn't think that. I thought the cards were against Tito going into the fight.
Oh yeah.
Short notice, never boxed before. I say Anderson Silva was coming off a big win over Chavez Jr. Yeah, so that was my prediction and called it. Knew that was going to happen. Hopefully Tito is good. He bounces back. Anderson Silva, love to see him. Let's do the Jake Paul. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, someone. That'd be good. There's so many different opportunities, but then you go to the main event.
Yep.
Vitor and Evander Holyfield also called that. I said that just one of those things that it's different striking. Like I said, we spoke about it the last podcast. MMA strikers are not really finesse per se. There's a lot of, but the way the angles of the punches and the little gloves, big gloves, it's different from a boxer that's been used to seeing calculated strikes coming at him.
Right.
And also Evander probably hasn't been hit or sparred, and you have to condition your body. That's why you have fight camp. That's why you spar. That's why you spar in camp to get your body conditioned to hit. And, as the more that you go and do something that kind of just, strengthens yourself in there. Like, you get cold clocked. A lot of people go out there and fight. That's why they get hit with the first punch in a fight. They get cold clocked, knocked out, because their body wasn't used to getting woken up or hit a little bit before the fight. And I think that's what it was, just the pressure that Vitor brought. And Evander just was like, oh shit, like I'm in this fight and I can't really shake the cobwebs off or getting your body ready for that. Also, he's older. His last few fights didn't go the way they should have went. I think he stayed in the sport a little bit too long, but that was tough to see. I mean, I'm a huge Vitor fan. I'm a huge Evander Holyfield fan. Now it brings up Vitor calling out Jake.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. And real quick on your call, about the angles and how Vitor has like this side stance and he comes looping. It was a great call because the commentators were saying, hey, I think because he has these looping hooks, he can't see that left. It's a different style than a boxer. And it reminded me of what you were saying, boxer versus MMA. Even though he's a boxer, he's an MMA guy, but he's in the boxing ring. So that, he's not throwing a straight right, just precision. He's kind of looping it. It's like a half overhand, half straight. And I think it confused Holyfield and just couldn't see the punches coming.
Yeah, for sure. I remember, I did a lot of amateur boxing, and then I would go and do, I was fighting at a higher level amateur boxing. I was fighting a lot of guys that were active that had, 30 to 40 to 50, 60 plus fights. I was fighting the open division ever since I had my first boxing match. And then I would go to MMA where you're fighting guys that have 3, 4, 5, 6 amateur fights. And it was completely different. The setup, some of them weren't, the feints, they weren't biting out the feints because they're not as calculated or structured to be that kind of style fighter. I've always been trained to be a pro style fighter. So I just noticed, like, from me at that level, that it was the difference it was from the high level amateur fighters to going to like the amateur MMA fighters. It was completely different. Timing, range, speed. The angles of the punches, that's why we have the number system that we work with my Uncle Bob, and the checks, because we were doing, short checks when they're coming in, high checks when they're, in tight, or looping shots, you kind of like meet them. Looping shots, you want to meet them. When they're in tight, you kind of want to kind of shell up.
Okay.
So the checks are huge, and I just figured that was going to happen. It's just a different range in there, and especially have a younger Vitor Belfort that's probably healed up, doesn't have to train as much. You have to endure as much physical demand on your body as boxing. I'm not saying that boxing is not physically demanding. It really is. But if you're comparing it to MMA is just, you have to have so many different cardiovascular systems. Wrestling's a different cardiovascular. Boxing, kickboxing. Now you're blending all that shit together to where you're doing all the ups, downs, the punches, the takedowns, defending the shot. Okay, now we got to scramble up and do a scramble, fight out of submissions. So yeah, like, I think the ultimate, it's Ultimate Fighting Championships for a reason, because it's ultimate. You're doing everything. It's ultimate.
Yeah.
Ultimate in there. But so yeah, he's probably came in just finally just healthy and just had to worry on one disciplinary. It was boxing.
Yeah, no, he did good. And like you mentioned, now it's the call out. The Triller promoters came up to the ring after and said, Jake Paul, where you at? Vitor, we've got 25 million to the winner only. 25 mil, winner takes all. And they were getting so hyped up in there that the promoter actually said, we'll bump it to 30. 30 mil to the winner. So now Vitor's calling out Jake Paul all week. He's trying to take interviews, trying to call him out any way he can. Jake is not given a real big response to it. He said if they put the 30 million in escrow and he sees it in an account, then he'll think about accepting the fight. But he just today called out Jorge Masvidal, who he wants to fight next.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
He said that's his official fight, but Jorge has 2 fights on his contract, so Dana would have to give.
Dana, do that. Let him go. Let him go get pieced up by Jorge. You know. Jorge's no punk, Evander. You know, Vitor's no punk. I just think that's a lot for him to chew off. And I did see. I hate when people try to minimize, you know, other people's wins. Like he said, he had like a dislocated elbow or something. I don't know if you saw that interview.
Oh yeah.
He said something with his elbow, but bro, like take your win. We're giving you some praise. You know, Willie's been gun shy in his last few fights, very tentative. You know, same shit. Hit you with the right hands, had you in the ropes. You know, didn't jump on it, didn't capitalize on it. But you know, you won the fight. You outboxed him. You know now, but then now you're trying to minimize your win because you said that it was your performance could be better. Just take it as it is. Go on. But yeah, this Vitor, I don't know. What would you rather see, Jorge or Vitor?
Probably Jorge, because I think the build-up and the press conference and shit-talking would be next level and be funny. Vitor's, you know, got that language barrier. He's not as funny as Jorge and Jake would be. But if Triller's the promotion behind Vitor put up that's big money, then that'd be. I would like both of them.
Yeah, you know, either or, I'm fine with. Hopefully, if Dana will let that happen, I don't see why he wouldn't. You know.
Could make the UFC look bad if these MMA fighters keep getting beat. Ben Askren, Woodley, then Jorge next.
There's no way. I've seen Jorge striking is great. He's a great striker. You know, he'd by far be the best fighter stand-up fighter that Jake's ever seen. We'll see though. Like I said, he did well against Woodley, but like I said, Woodley's been super tentative his last few fights. You know, either or. Vitor fights him. I mean, 30 million. Come on. I mean, that's hard to turn down, Jake.
I know.
30 million in escrow. They said it like right up a contract. Like, you know, then if they don't pay you, then you can sue their ass. You know.
Yeah. No, I think they would. Triller's got a lot of money right now.
Yep, definitely. So. Either or. Let's make those fights happen, Triller, or Thriller. Triller.
Thriller. Love it. All right, let's move on. Next topic. I'm not sure if you saw the drama. Conor McGregor gets into it with Machine Gun Kelly when he's with Megan Fox. So we don't know the full story. You know, what I told you is that he asked Megan Fox for a picture. MGK said no, or he said nah. And then Conor throws his drink at him, throws a punch. That's pretty far off. So a lot of drama. Conor's already over it. But what's your reaction when you see this in the news and this kind of back and forth?
Yeah, I saw it a little bit, you know, on social media. Over the weekend, you know, anything that Conor does, especially at a huge event like that, with another, you know, superstar, MGK, Megan Fox. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the backstory. There were some media outlets saying that he didn't ask for a picture. Like, what sparked this, you know, altercation between them? You know, like Conor McGregor says, he's not a celebrity. He's a fucking fighter. You know, like he's not gonna take light to if MGK did say something to him, you know, or that. Like he doesn't care if he's at this kind of event or it was the VMAs. He's gonna be. I mean, I'm the kind of the same way. Like if someone's, you know, I don't care if there's cameras on or not. If we're backstage, like we're gonna have an issue. We're gonna solve it either like gentlemen or we can fight. Like kind of that's how I am. But. I don't know what sparked it. You know, only MGK and Conor. When like I said, Conor's already spoken on. Like, you know, I don't even know who MGK is. I doubt, highly disbelieve that. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's trying to not speak on it and invites them both to his next fights. And then I think MGK just like a little video of him just laughing, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is. We'll see.
Not too big of a deal, but one thing I'll say on this topic is Megan Fox was looking very, very good last night. My God, that was...
Shout out to MGK for getting that.
Man.
Look at you, man. You're winning at life, even if you almost got blitzed by the left hand.
He was about to get rocked, but yeah, I got to give it to Conor. He's ready. Any sign of disrespect, he's ready to go.
Hey, even with that leg, man, it held up, right? Like he was trying to... He was down. He don't care. He's got one leg.
He was ready. All right, we'll jump on from that topic. MGK is going to be all right. He survived the wrath of Conor. The last one here, we got a lot of big news right now in the MMA space is there's a transgender fighter who's former Marine Special Forces, transitioned in 2016, was done in 2018, and now is fighting in a women's MMA promotion. So the big question is, should this be allowed? Should this not be allowed? You know, right now it's a fine line, and because on paper she is now a woman, or he is now a woman, they're allowing it. You know, a lot of people, Sean Strickland, Brendan Schaub, Joe Rogan, are just so against this, and they're being very vocal in the media. So what's your initial thoughts when you see this, and then we'll dig in a little deeper?
For me, personally, like, listen, if you want to transition, you know, if you feel like that's going to make you whole or happy, or that's who you truly are, then all means go ahead and do that. But you're in a sport that, an MMA, where you're trying to literally possibly kill someone. So your genetic makeup, your bone structure, your strength are already levels above a female would be. A female would be. So that's, you know, we've had this in the past with the Fallon Fox. You know, she was the first transgender that, you know, transitioned into being a female and fought in MMA. I'm just like, it's tough. I mean, I'm totally against it. I don't think that should be allowed. You know, it's not like it's weightlifting, or it's, you know, a lot of these sports are allowing it, but this is like a very controversial thing that's going on. Like I said, if you want to transition into being, you know, male to female or vice versa, like, go ahead, but you're in a sport where you're going out there and like doing bodily damage. Like, I just don't think that's fair. I don't think it should happen. Shame on the promotion as well for letting it happen, you know. But like I said, it's happened before. There's Legion. Legion's having a dream. He's having a dream, sprawled out. But we hear you, buddy. But man, it's just such a tough topic to even speak on. Just the day and age that we're in, you know, with everything, the movements and stuff. But this is, I stand behind when I say, like, should not be allowed.
Yeah, it was hard. I watched the highlights of the fight, and to watch.
I didn't get to watch the fight. Did she?
Elena throw these overhand rights that were landing, and she actually, the other girl was fighting back, landed some shots, and then Elena ended up getting the rear naked choke on the ground. But there's obviously a power difference, broad shoulders. There's natural things that guys are born with that girls aren't. So it's an unfair advantage. So Cody, what's your opinion? Do you think this promotion will pull back on allowing this and eventually cut this fight over the next few weeks, or this is bringing them a ton of PR? Do they keep it and lead the way in this industry by being one of the first promotions to have a transgender athlete?
Yeah, you know, in the past we talked about, you know, Fallon Fox. She was at some promotions that, you know, let that happen. I mean, what promotion is this? Combate? That's what it looks like, right?
Let's pull it up.
Yeah, it looks like Combate Global.
There she is in the pink. Okay, we're watching the playback video right now.
Oh, wow. Jesus. Chucking and ducking. Ooh. Oh, my gosh. Ooh. Look at that. Well, I mean, it's definitely a power difference.
Right now she's throwing some overhand rights. She just picked her up, dropped her. Now this is where she gets the rear naked choke finish. She wins. Right there, she just went, ah!
Yeah, she was. Oh, she almost got dropped by the chick, though.
She did at one point. See, it was a good
she was
fight.
getting rocked a little bit. Okay.
See those overhand rights started coming. We won't show too much, but
yeah, wow.
So final thoughts is that they should cut her or they should keep her. What are your thoughts, Cody?
Oh my gosh. What if you have just like a transgender league?
That's a good idea, but there's not enough.
I mean, you would make one.
Oh, maybe then everyone who's interested in fighting. There's probably a lot of transgender who want to fight, but they
should fight each
don't
other.
Put themselves out there. So maybe they all fight each other. That's a good idea.
Like, just like, hey, like we're transgender, we want to fight. Like, let's fight each other. That's not fair.
Yeah, maybe it's the transgender fighting championships.
I'm for
TFC.
it. I'd go and watch.
Hey.
Pay-per-view it.
All right, there you have it. TFC. We'll see what happens.
TFC.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up here, Cody.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching No Love TV, another episode. We're excited and thankful to be bringing you these weekly. Next few episodes will be via Skype or Zoom. I'll be in Jersey, so we'll keep it going. Guest interviews coming soon. We're going to call Chad, get a hold of him and get him in studio, talk about his upcoming, bare knuckle fight, what he's got going on with his Fins and Feather, his career, his dad life, other stuff coming up. Follow No Love TV on Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to us. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.